A meteorologist dismantles the mainstream media's climate change narrative. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange is a free man after a 14-year legal battle with the US. Facebook and Instagram moved to restrict political content ahead of the presidential debate. And are there over 50 ISIS-linked illegal aliens roaming the US right now? We'll get into all of that and your quick hits next. What's up, guys? Welcome to the wrap-up where we break down the biggest stories of the week that you might have missed, but definitely need to know. I'm your host, Sage. A meteorologist major has gone viral for effectively disproving mainstream media's recent climate change fear-mongering campaign. Many media outlets have been calling the recent heat wave in the eastern half of the US a clear-cut example of climate change. Chris Martz, a senior meteorology major at Millersville University, took it upon himself to provide some straightforward data on the platform X, showing why what we're seeing is nothing out of the ordinary. Check this out.
So we have a heat wave this week, right? When the news media has everybody stirred up in a frenzy and a panic, thinking that these temperatures are unprecedented for June. But the reality is that pretty much no major city east of the Rocky Mountains is expected to break any daily or all-time record highs for the month of June. So where are they getting this information from? Well, they're getting their information from scientists like Dr. Michael Mann and other researchers out there who are saying that these events are becoming more frequent and more common here in the United States. But if you actually take a look at the thermometer data that has been collected by NOAA since 1895, we can see that the average per station, percent of days per year that have reached or exceeded 95 degrees Fahrenheit since 1895, we can see that that number is trending down.
Now, this wasn't the only climate change hysteria that Chris took the time to debunk. The White House recently tweeted that, quote, "Forecasters are predicting above normal activity this hurricane season. We're committed to keeping communities safe from these disasters, which are intensifying due to the climate crisis." Frightening stuff, but is it true? March tweeted back at the White House, "There is no evidence to support your statement that hurricanes are intensifying due to the climate crisis. In the satellite records since 1980, there has been no measurable global scale increase in the number of major hurricanes." And he also added, "Hurricanes are not becoming more intense either. The Global Accumulated Cyclone Energy Index shows no global scale increase since 1980. In fact, it was recently a 40-year historical low." Many media outlets can't even seem to agree on the consequences of climate change. For example, Real Research Media reported that climate change was melting the polar ice caps and speeding up the Earth's rotation, while NBC News reported that it was slowing down the Earth's rotation. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange returned home to Australia after a plea deal with the US allowed him to walk free from a London prison. Assange has been in a legal battle for 14 years with the US officials who accused him of leaking classified documents. Assange pled guilty to one charge of conspiracy to obtain and disclose national defense information, rather than the 18 he was originally facing. As BBC reports, the case centered around a massive WikiLeaks disclosure in 2010 when the website released a video from a US military helicopter which showed civilians being killed in the Iraqi capital, Baghdad. The DOJ had accused Assange of working with former US Army intelligence analyst Chelsea Manning, formerly known as Bradley Manning, in order to steal and disclose the documents. Assange entered his plea in a US district court in Saipan, the capital of the Northern Mariana Islands, which is a US territory close to Australia. He was sentenced to time served for the 5 years he spent in a UK prison. After the court hearing, Assange left Saipan by plane for Australia, where relatives were waiting to be reunited with him. Is the election interference already starting? Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, came under fire this week for again limiting the political content users could see just one day before the first presidential debate of 2024. Earlier this year, Instagram required users to manually opt in to see political content from accounts they don't follow. Now, Meta has again updated Instagram settings to automatically limit political content in users' feeds every time the user exits the app, regardless of their previous settings. The update appears to have been implemented on Tuesday, with many political commentators criticizing the move, given that it came just days before a major political event in the US. In a related story, the Supreme Court ruled on Wednesday in a 6-3 decision to dismiss Murphy v. Missouri. The justices threw out lower court rulings that favored Louisiana, Missouri, and other parties in their claims that federal officials and White House staffers leaned on social media platforms to unconstitutionally squelch conservative points of view. Over 400 illegal immigrants with ties to the terrorist organization ISIS have been released into the United States as part of the far-left open borders policy. That is according to a report by NBC News, which says that an ISIS-affiliated human trafficking network has successfully smuggled over 400 illegal aliens into the US. Many of the 400 illegals who crossed the border were released into the US by Customs and Border Protection. Former FBI Counterterrorism Section Chief Christopher O'Leary says, quote, "I believe the US is scrambling to locate these individuals, and using the immigration charges is not uncommon. They are in violation of that law. And if you need to take somebody anybody off the street, that's a good approach to do it. Which begs the question, if the authorities are using immigration charges to arrest these illegals now, why are these same authorities releasing them into the US in the first place? Right now, the Department of Homeland Security says that more than 50 of the ISIS-linked illegals are still at large in the US. The officials say immigration authorities are currently looking for the illegals whose whereabouts are, wait for it, totally unknown. Sleep tight. And now it's time for your quick hits. A group of scientists at Tokyo University have developed technology for attaching living skin to the faces of robots. The team claims they were able to do so by copying the tissue structure of human skin. If this is a nightmare fuel, I'm not sure what is. On Tuesday, China's lunar probe return capsule landed back on Earth after gathering rock samples from the far side of the moon. This was China's second time to land an unmanned craft on that side of the moon, making them the only country to ever accomplish that feat. The Texas Rangers have held their ground despite outside criticism and increased pressure to host a Pride Night in the month of June. The Rangers are the only team out of 30 in the MLB to go without a Pride Night, and many fans have voiced their support of the team for not wavering. Federal investigators have finally identified a malfunctioning wheel bearing as the cause of the disastrous train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio, which led to significant environmental damage. Eva Longoria is claiming Hollywood isn't liberal or progressive, adding that she believes gender equity is needed at all levels of the entertainment industry. Meanwhile, earlier this month, a certain presidential campaign raised at least $28 million at an event attended by George Clooney, Julia Roberts, Barbra Streisand, and Jimmy Kimmel. According to data provided by ESPN, the WNBA's breakout star Caitlin Clark is now America's 4th most popular athlete. She comes in right behind LeBron James, Tiger Woods, and Steph Curry. Disney's The Acolyte has rung in as the lowest fan-rated Star Wars series to date and is being widely mocked for its radical woke agenda. If the Death Star is a planet killer, Lucasfilm boss Kathleen Kennedy is a franchise killer. That's all I have for you this week, guys. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think about these stories in the comments below, and we'll see you back here next week on The Wrap-Up. Thank you for watching this video. In order to keep PragerU videos free, please consider making a tax-deductible donation.